Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Truly, 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 how are we doing today? From me to you, I want to give you that space and I want to give you that validation while we sit here and ask ourselves, how are we doing? This face mask is like almost dry, but I'm keeping it on for this video because take care of yourself. Pop on a masky. Take some time to listen to a girl talkie. I made a very emotional video yesterday, and I feel like not all of it was politically correct, but I feel like I just needed to let that out because so much was happening in my own life yesterday, and I just needed to let it out, have an outlet. I'm talking to you, whoever you are, hello, and I needed somebody to talk to about how I was feeling. Sorry, drinky break. So, I feel like I have talked about what I'm going to talk about today in a lot of my videos, but in trying to incorporate real restorative dialogue, my degree is from DePaul University, Peace, Conflicts, and Justice Studies, and I studied harm reduction, I studied nonviolence activism. I studied basically ideologies, system structures that favor rehabilitation over sanction. Still, that's a word vomit. What does that mean? Well, I studied a lot of civil rights and the history of the United States, and really civil rights activists. I'm a huge fan of Angela Davis. She's mother, she is God, whatever. I truly appreciate Bell Hooks, is another beautiful, great feminist-based sociologist. And I really appreciate those women. I think that they have always had a very restorative outlook. What does restorative mean? I think restorative, it comes from within. How do we restore? How do we infuse? How do we work from within to move outwards, right? In a way. And I feel as though a big point in restorative work are the little victories. And I've talked about this a lot, like I've already said a million times. But I think what's so important is that this is how we reframe our day. Look at your day today. Think about what you did today. What are the little wins for you? Did you, set your clothes out for yourself last night? Did you make a coffee at home? Did you make dinner at home and save money? Did you listen to your gut in talking to somebody about how you truly felt than just skeezing by and making people comfortable, but then you're not comfortable, right? That's kind of a bigger one, a little bit more tangly. But I'm just trying to paint the picture of like, how can we look at what's already happened, and how can we look at the glass half full than half empty? It's really easy to sit at the end of our day and complain, when it's like, let's sit at the end of the day and how can we reframe, relook at what's already done in a positive light. Obviously, I'm talking about your own personal life. I'm not talking about the state of the world right now. There's like that, this is not applying to that. I want to air that out, but I want to talk about how can we restore ourselves, right? And I think it's really important to do that, because in a way you also are reprogramming your nervous system to pick at the positive, then pick at the negative, right? And it's also really, really important to celebrate yourself. It's really, really important to tell yourself, wow, look at what I did today. It is so easy. It is so easy to tell yourself, wow, I'm not doing enough. Wow, I should have, I could have, I would have. All of those UDs are really frameworks that I think are rooted in shame and are rooted in ways to enforce like really these like capitalistic values of like, I could have done better, or what could have been different. It's like we're not teaching ourselves how to be satisfied with right here, right now. Granted, we do live under capitalism. Everything is a competition. You know, success is your house is bigger than your neighbor's, right? But it's like, then that brings you to this question of like, truly, what does success mean to you? Is it material? Is it moral? Is it, you know, freedom in the how you lived your day-to-day life? You know, like, I think these are really big questions that we don't ask ourselves enough, and that we psych ourselves out of because those little victories don't matter. That what you did yesterday to set yourself up to have a better morning today is, you know? And I think we should backpedal and be like, wow, like I really showed up for myself. And I think that that's really, really important. And I think when we talk about restorative work, I think sometimes these certain viewpoints, and when it gets really political, it's like, oh, well, you're taking, you know, blame away, or you're not giving yourself, you know, you're not owning up to. But I would disagree. I think it's, you know, how are you going to look at what's happened? And I think that a lot of people just forget that, you know, the glass always has water in it, but is it half full or half empty? Really important to really let yourself see the victory and success in that, because, you know, like I said, these shouldings, these could've, like that, you know, makes you not let yourself see what has happened. You know, you're not in the present, you're in the future, or you're in the past. And I think it's really important to stay in the future, because you can't do anything if you are stuck in the past or the future, because you're not letting yourself sink in right now. And I think too, it's like there are a lot of ways that shame is really rooted in our culture. I mean, it's especially for women. You know, I mean, God, we think everything is our fucking fault. And you know, it's just like, even like the way that, you know, you were just internally sometimes embarrassed because we're not good enough. We're not doing enough. And I think it's really important to remember that you can reframe that. You don't have to be subject to what your mind tells you. You don't have to be subject to what your neighbors tell you. You don't have to be subject to what your doctor tells you. Like, you don't need to take on other people's opinions or expectations, and you don't need that validation. Like, you validate yourself. You make that choice. You let their voice and their opinion matter more than yours. And that's what you have to let go of. That is restorative work. That is choosing, I'm not going to let this negative or othering above myself. And I think that that's really, really important. Especially in our world today, because there is so much unknown. There is so much nuance. There hasn't been stability. We've had a whole new world since the pandemic. It's like go, 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 go in a totally different way. And I think it's important to find that validation and comfort within ourselves, because if we keep looking for it outwards, you're always going to be subject to other people. And you can't live that way, because then you're never going to be able to make the choice within yourself to be content and happy. And it's always going to be in someone else's hands. And that's restorative work. That is what restorative justice can look like for a social emotional perspective within ourselves, within our relationships, within ourselves. You know, like life is coming from you, not to you. And I think it's really important to just remember that at the end of the day, like, how are you going to, what are you going to let yourself be bound to, you know? Time is an illusion. Age is an illusion. Like, life is so long. And I think it's important to remember that. I have to remind myself of that. That, you know, it's like we have to have it together by a certain time. We have to have kids by a certain time. You should be married. You should be doing this. Like, again, that's all subject to societal expectations. And again, figure out what matters to you. Maybe one of those things really does matter to you. But does it matter to you because it's your choice? Or does it matter to you because somebody is telling you that it should matter to you? And I think also it's like affirm yourself, list, you know, the wins that you had for the day, have a conversation with somebody. You know, I think that there are a lot of ways to try to incorporate that kind of work and just viewpoint into your own self. So that's my video today. So much love. I hope this resonated. I hope something came out of this video for somebody. I hope somebody disagrees with me. Please comment your thoughts. I hope you're doing well, and until next time.